Think closely on the idea of the hot, arid, and dry desert, perhaps the Sahara, or even the Gobi Desert. In this harsh environment, we see the cactus, the noble aloe vera. We see, perhaps, a vulture flying overhead, looking for its next meal. And we see, deep, deep buried in the ground, poking its head up from the sand, the tiniest and perhaps even the most adorable lizard, a creature with scales across its body. This creature has survived. It has survived for so long. It is tiny and small, yet it lives in this harsh, unforgiving world. But the way that it moves, the way that it lives, with its tiny body, with its thin outer skin, is a dance, a move of the head, a flitter of the heart. It skitters and skips across the dunes, its body lightweight, its feet nimble and quick, its limbs agile and lithe. As it bounds and bounces across its exterior world, it's free. There is no hunter. There is no danger to it. It finds that on the outside of its home, of its cave, it can explore and bound and move in motion any direction it wants to. Though there is a price to be paid, the price of the heat, it may find that some indeed like it hot. As it wanders to the east in search of a lovely little patch of insects crawling about. Its body moves, clawing forward, back legs twisting in front of the front legs, hind legs moving with all the momentum. It seems supple and graceful, yet it moves with the joy, with the energy of a young child. It reminds us of what it was like to be so free and so graceful, so careless, so devil-may-care. As it zooms around, it looks for a beetle here, a sand-covered, tiny morsel, a bug as close as it can be, hiding in the shade of the Vera. The heat bearing down on our friend, on us. An ant scurries in front of our little buddy, and with a flick of the tongue, the ant is caught up and sucked into the mouth. It may seem cruel, But in the desert, only the quickest and the most nimble and the most careful may survive. The desert lizard. The shovel-snouted tiny being does its dance as it chews its food, and it reminds us that we too must enjoy the things that we acquire. We too must dance, sometimes with our hind legs, sometimes with our punier arms. But we must mark the occasion of catching our prey, of succeeding, of apprehending our quarry. And more than anything else in this world, we must be calm. We must nurture these elements in ourselves. We must find our bug. We must burrow beneath the dune to seek safety. We must find solace in the cold. And when we are buried safely for now, away from the heat, from the day, when we are safe, we must let ourselves relax and unwind and stay hidden just for a little while longer. It is in this way that we find the true meaning of this lizard with its tiny body. It is a swan song, a living, breathing world inside of a tiny body. A testament to how something so tiny, something so fragile, could survive in the harshest environment just by being itself. It makes us wonder what we can truly learn from something so elegant. And as the lizard completely surrounds itself with soft, cool dirt underneath the dunes, we see scurrying by a long-bodied, thin, dangerous serpent on the prowl for something else. The sidewinder gently and caressingly glides across the sand. It looks for its prey, hissing and licking the air, eyes wide open, slits of black betwixt yellow. As it lurches and slinks, it leaves a calm trail behind it. From a distance, one might even mistake it for a wafting branch or a rolling bone. But as this delicate beast moves side to side, it gains traction. This cold-blooded, dangerous machine hides in wait, burying itself under the sand. It deftly, calmly, coolly, smartly awaits its prey, not making any assumptions, not making any movements, soft and still, simple and clean. It may not have the prettiest scales. It may not even be the prettiest snake. But when it does its job right, you know it. And when it strikes its prey, when it does finally get its quarry, it catches it quickly. It snatches it up. It doesn't let it struggle or suffer. It lunges and grabs. Like a spring uncoiling from underneath the sand. We have to wonder, what is it we can learn from these two creatures? We can learn to survive the heat, of course, but I think we can learn something even greater. The power of distinction between joy and patience. Joy to let ourselves savor victory, and patience to let ourselves calm and cool for the coming test. And when we let that test cross us, when it finally rears its ugly head, and when we finally see it before us, waiting, when our vigilance is at its utmost, that is the time for us to strike. A time of perfect synchronicity.